Welcome to the 20th lecture in this lecture series introducing international investment law. In the last 5 lectures, we have been discussing various substandard standards of protection under investment treaties. In the 19th lecture, we discussed the FPSs or the Full Protection and Security Standard. In this lecture, we will discuss the finer aspects of the standard. Originally, the standard contemplated physical protection of the investor's interests, but has been subsequently extended to all types of protection, including physical and legal security. In Bywater versus Tanzania, in its final award dated 24 July 2008, the tribunal stated in para 729, the arbitral tribunal adheres to the Azurix holding that when the terms protection and security are qualified by full, the content of the standard may extend to matters other than physical security. It implies the state's guarantee of stability in a secure environment, both physical, commercial, and legal. It would, in the arbitral tribunal's view, be unduly artificial to confine the notion of full security only to one aspect of security, particularly in the light of the use of this term in a BIT directed at the protection of commercial and financial investments. This extension has been criticized as unduly burdening states with limited resources in diverting such scarce resources to protecting foreign investments. Next, we deal with the features of the FPSs. The host state has an obligation of vigilance, and therefore it does not matter if the acts complained of were by the members of the host state, such as armed forces, police authorities, government authorities, etc., or third party. In case of breach, the host state would be liable. Where the investor's physical security was impaired by third parties, the state would be liable if it did not take effective measures to prevent it. See, for instance, Vena Hotel versus Egypt. There is a debate even among tribunals as to the scope of the FPSs. The debate is whether FPSs is restricted to physical security or would extend even to legal security. Some tribunals, such as the Rumeli versus Kazakhstan and Saluka versus Czech Republic, have restricted its scope only to physical security. The Saluka tribunal observed the full protection and security standard applies essentially when the foreign investment has been affected by civil strife and physical violence. The full security and protection clause is not meant to cover just any kind of impairment of an investment, but to protect more specifically the physical integrity of an investment against interference by the use of force. But many tribunals, such as Bywater Tribunal, have held that full in the FPSs leads to extension even to matters other than physical security. Interestingly, in Pantechnicki versus Albania, the tribunal held in its award that the response of the state when a foreign investor's investment is sought to be impaired depends on its resources. The tribunal cited the following observations of Newcomb and Parnell with approval. Although the host state is required to exercise an objective minimum standard of due diligence, the standard of due diligence is that of a host state in circumstances and with resources of the state in question. This suggests that due diligence is a modified objective standard. The host state must exercise the level of due diligence of a host state in its particular circumstances. In practice, tribunals will likely consider the state's level of development and stability as relevant circumstance in determining whether there has been due diligence. An investor investing in an area with endemic civil strife and poor governance cannot have the same expectation of physical security as one investing in London, New York, or Tokyo. The due diligence test, which we saw in the last lecture, as the applicable test for determination of whether FPSS was violated has two limbs: the duty of prevention of injury and the duty of punishment for injuries caused. Examples of physical harm sought to be protected against under the standard are the following: civil unrest, civil strife, civil disturbance, and physical violence; threats and attacks on investment; physical invasion of business premises of investment sites; looting and rioting; attack and seizure of property; impairment affecting the physical integrity of investment by forceful interference; wrecking, looting and dismantlement of equipment and property; forceful expropriation of investment; killings and destruction of property; occupation of a building and physical assault of the CEO. Note that in the video we have provided the reference to the award as well. So readers who want to have a further look at these awards may kindly pause the video and then search for these awards from any site such as Google, etc. These cases have been compiled based on an article published in the American University Business Law Review by Nat Nirun, titled "The Full Protection and Security Standard in International Investment Law: What and Who is Investment Fully Protected and Secured From?" The link to the article is provided in the description to this video. Examples of legal harm sought to be protected against under this standard are the following: host state's failure to keep its judicial system available for the investor to bring claims; host state's change of the legal framework making the investor susceptible to negative acts by private persons; host state's conferral of immunity from suit for public authorities' assaults of the investor's staff; host state's refusal to honor a cover losses provision in its written agreement with the investor; host state's change in its tax law interpretation and refusal to reimburse value-added tax paid by the investor; host state's failure to apply the regulatory framework and the concession agreement; host state's illicit deprivation of the investor's access to foreign currency indispensable for the daily operation of its subsidiaries; measures that deprive investors of or restrict property or that have similar effects; host state's allowance of wrongful application of new legislation by its agency, failure to comply with domestic law, and breach of the provisions of the investment agreement; judicial wrongs; court's decisions that lack independence and impartiality; initiation of renegotiation of the contract by the host state for the sole purpose of reducing its costs, unsupported by any declaration of public interest, affected the legal security of the investor's investment; changes made to the regulatory framework by the host state's measures adopted to address its crisis, which resulted in effective dismantlement of the framework and uncertainty reigning; the denial of procedural protection of the investor's right to recover effective participation in the capital equity; the non-compliance of the host state's court judgments by the other state organs; inability of the host state's legal system to correct its error or the alleged insufficiency of its courts; and the involvement of the host state's legislative and executive branches in decreasing the impartiality of the host state's judges or courts; amendments of the law or administrative actions causing negative effects of investments; removal of the management and seizure of the premises by the host state not associated with the use of force but unnecessary and abusive; failure by the host state's authority to follow its court's decision constitute the violation of the FPSS; failure by the host state to implement its own regulation resulting in impairment of foreign investors' investment constitutes a failure to ensure legal security of the foreign investment and is thus a violation of the FPSS. Many of the awards and articles mentioned in this lecture have been put forth in the references. They are also available in the description to this video. Happy learning! That's all in this lecture. Bye bye and stay safe.